I love it.
Do it live. And we're live. Okay. Wait a couple seconds. Did you get sorted what you need to get sorted there, Lauren?
Oh, yeah. I'm just uploading some athlete interviews.
I'm just doing my job, Sean. Please bother me.
Do not disturb me as I'm sipping on my Roy Rogers.
What is in a Roy Rogers?
First of all, it's a diet Roy Rogers.
Okay.
Yes.
He's Roy Rogers on the keto.
What? I don't even know what that is.
I asked you if you wanted one.
I did want one. I asked you
snapped at me. You're
no,
like, no, I don't want that.
No, I didn't because you're like, it's. If you're gonna give me something, it's alcoholic inside. What's up, Scott? How you doing?
That is, you're right.
It's Roy Rogers, typically
very good.
Coca-Cola with some grenadine.
No, it's just we're recording anyway. It doesn't matter. I just hit that one too.
Roy Rogers is typically Coca-Cola with some grenadine, but we're fitness-oriented people. So what we did is we took the sugar out. And then we put it back in with more grenadine.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good sugar.
Good sugar.
Got it.
But it's with fruit flavoring.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for coming by.
Very good.
Hey, Soccer Mom's here. Yeah, Lauren's here. Yep, we got everybody. Okay. Y'all, you ready to jump into this?
Let's dive in.
Let's go. There's drinks to be had here. More Roy Rogers to be consumed, imbibed. There you go. I feel I got a pen. I don't have a drink. So, all right. 3, 2, and 1. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first post recap here for Wodapalooza. Day 1 is in the books. Sean, Tommy, and Lauren here with you from the beautiful Courtyard Marriott in downtown Miami, which is just
Miami.
I don't know. It's like a par 5 away from the away from Bayfront Park.
Yeah, maybe
a par 4.
Maybe a long par 4 with downhill and a little bit of a backwind. But
what's up, Heather? How you doing? Thanks for being here, everybody. Okay, so we had individual competition today for the elites, 3 different events. We'll have 2 tomorrow, and then we hand things off to the teams. So let's just jump right into it, and we'll start on the women's side. Here we go.
So, and one quick note, if you see that little shoe in the bottom right of your corner,
yes,
that's not just for poops and giggles.
Our coverage is presented by Reebok.
Yeah.
Thanks to Reebok. They've been great partners, setting us up with some great gear and some Nano X4s. Tommy, actually, here,
wait, I got to save
I got to stop. Let's save that for later. Look at that. Look at that flexibility. That's fantastic. There you go.
Oh
no. Man.
Oh, sacrifice.
That's why we can't have nice things here. Okay.
The flexibility, though. Yeah. Wow.
If you're watching this, you can scan the QR code on your screen, take you to a web page where you can enter your email. There's like 4 hours left if you're watching this live right now before the Nano X4 drops. All right. So it'll update you on that if you enter your email, and you'll have a chance to buy them. They're fantastic. I got mine on as well. I'm not wearing these. I'm wearing the. There's no way I'm going to do that. I'll pull a groin. There's people people outside waving at us.
It's like guitar strings plucking.
Oh, it would be. I got to warm up before I get into that kind of mobility. But here's where we stand now after 3 events for the women. Gabby McGowan is on top by just 6 points over Emma Carey. Danielle Brandon sits in third with 259.5 points. Not sure how they're giving the half points. It's coming from those 50-point events that we had at the end of the day. Rebecca Vidison sits in 4th. Ariel Lowen is in 5th. Those are the 5 athletes who are above the 200-point mark. 49.5 points separating 1st from 5th. But Gabby McGowan had 2 4ths, a 3rd, and a 7th, and I don't think anyone's too surprised to see her on top of the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, even coming in, it felt like, obviously Ariel Lowen has the podium pedigree from this past season, but it felt like Gabby was kind of in the driver's seat this weekend, and didn't win an event on this first, I guess technically 4 opportunities for sections at least, but consistency across the board, which has been her calling card for quite some time. And she looks great right now.
Well, and it's funny because I think we expect to see Danielle Brandon toward top, but when speaking with her this morning, because some of the changes with the workouts, she was a little bit bummed. She was like, I signed up for Wodapalooza because I saw 2 of the events today and they were in her wheelhouse. And then, of course, they got changed because of the rain and for safety, but still sitting in 3rd overall at the top after just joining the roster last minute.
Danny Spiegel said something similar. I think a lot of the top level,
James Sprague mentioned, I think probably the same thing. We talked about a little bit on the broadcast too. We'll get to him in a second.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they were bummed that the programming got changed, because couplets, high skill stuff, some of the higher end aggressive rep ranges in terms of some of the movements was stuff that they were just excited to sink their teeth into. You know, Sprague's a great example. Spiegel too. Like some of these athletes that are really powerful. I pride myself in being a hip-driven athlete. You know?
Clearly, with that mobility you got there,
I keep things above parallel. I'm an obtuse athlete. You know, you take away, you know, bar muscle ups, short head. Those are two very hip explosive movements, and that kind of changes a bit. But you know what? In the end, it was, you know, it was the right decision, obviously, for safety's sake. But it opens the door for some other athletes to maybe pop up and showcase some skills.
Well, I think it's interesting you mentioned that, because, and this will be on our Instagram after the episode, because we have some athlete interviews that are still going up. But when I spoke to Sam Quant, he said he was happy they changed the workouts, not specifically because of the skill component, but because he likes when nobody has tried the workouts before, and it takes I don't know if you would say more athleticism, but ability to think on the fly and not have the preparedness you would have if you've already done a prior and have a game plan.
He said the same thing on the floor after the event. And I think, and Tommy, you mentioned this, it's just, that will play into a veteran's hands.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
They're more accustomed to having to go out there and, you know, cold and kind of figure that thing out.
You just have so much more data under your belt. Pat has said that all the time. He says, you know, he loves it when you don't have time to prepare. You just got to show up and perform at a high level, and you have a better understanding of yourself as an athlete. And, you know, it's cool for someone like Quant to come up and step up on that too. But I think it's any surprise that the top 8 women right now all are individual game athletes in the last 2 years. So ton of experience, and then a few newcomers just behind them.
I want to point out one person before we go over to the men's side. Rebecca Fuselier in 7th place. It's pretty impressive to me.
After a lifting event, nonetheless.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And she took
a lot of work.
She finished what in that event? She was 26th. So not great, but not the bottom.
Yeah. No, it was a little bit more damage control. And I actually think for her size, she's one of the smaller, lighter athletes. 170 on that lift is pretty solid for her overall. I mean, you look at, she lifted the same as Sydney Wells, and they're just athletes overall. So to be able to, that's what shoring up weaknesses is about. You may not be elite at that, but when you look around the rest of the stage, you know it's not necessarily going to hold you back, and you can compete and edge out some of their athletes that are at your caliber instead of just automatically going to the bottom. All
right, over on the men's side, Ricky Garrard is now your overall leader. We weren't sure when we went off the air how this was going to sort out, because we obviously didn't have the scores from the first part of that 50-point event. But Garrard now leads by 4.5 points over Vellner. Jack Farlow moves up from 5th in the 3rd. Sam Quant is sitting in 4th. Brent Fikowski, who went into that final event in place, now trails because he took a 33rd place in that final event, the final portion of that event, after actually doing pretty well in the first. He took 4th in the total reps, but a 33rd
on the time that the last part finished.
Yeah,
that seemed uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic.
And that, knowing Brent, that may have been a calculated risk, because he may have known, I don't know, when I get to this 8-minute one, it's not my thing, so I'm going to sell out for this and try to get these points and do a little damage control. I'd be interested to talk to him about that.
Yeah.
But you got CJ Gerald in the top 10, Colton Mertens, he won Cordatito, Jack Rosema, who was in the top 5 at one point. He was only 3 points back of Fikowski, I think, going into that event at Cornway. And then Austin Hatfield sits in 10th place. But Ricky Garrard, coming off the great performance at Rhodes, defending Tier Wodapalooza champion. Here he is again in 1st place. But Patrick Vellner is learning.
Yes, he's only 4.5, just to these half points.
Yeah.
4.5 points back. Jack Farlow, impressive.
Hey.
If you today, he had a very BKGS day. You're like, did he stand out on any one thing? You're like, no. But then you're like, oh, but he's on the podium and right in the mix. I think talking to a few athletes, they were a little surprised at how conservative he was on the snatch event, given the strength numbers that we've seen from him historically and even at the games. But it may have been the right play, or maybe it's something he's less concerned about, and concerned on doing things like the 9th and the 4th on Deja Vu that he got, or those longer interval type tests where, hey, I can shore up some capacity here. But yeah, I'm super impressed by him. C. Gerald and Jack Rosema have been the two guys that we've talked about as I don't know, what do we used to call who the heck is this guy?
Yeah, well, Gerald, we've mentioned this before. We mentioned on the broadcast on a team last year with the Three Wizards. They finished the top 10. I think they were 9th.
Yeah.
And Rosema's a guy that we've seen at semifinals. He's been around, got a great story.
Same with CJ.
In the U.S. Army, helped, I think, Ohio State win a national title in wrestling.
Whoa.
I think it was Ohio State. I'll have to double check that.
I knew he was a wrestler. I didn't know where, but
let me confirm.
That's a guy you don't want.
Yeah, Ohio State on a wrestling and ROTC scholarship before he became a member of the U.S. Army Warrior Fitness Team.
Epic.
Also helped the Buckeyes wrestling team win a national championship in 2015. So he's a guy who knows how to perform under pressure, under big pressure situations. But I don't think the surprise here is Roman Krennikov, I think, in 14th.
Yeah. Traditionally speaking, the snatch has not been the best event for him.
But these other two, you thought that he could do better at. Krennikov goes, 16th, 7th, and then 11th. So he only has one finish inside the top 10 so far.
Yeah, and maybe
and an 18th on the snatch.
And for a guy that I think a lot of people had winning this entire thing, with only two events
not
left.
Winning at least on the podium.
Yeah, well, now it's like that. Both of those things
events
are more or less in jeopardy.
More or less gone.
Yep.
There's just not enough space to make up at this point. I mean, he could go 1-1 tomorrow and maybe, pray for chaos. But it really seems like with 4 pieces like this where you haven't quite been where we're used to seeing you, they're just you can't afford to have a misstep here.
What is his? Because I remember at the games swim ski he won.
Yeah. Rinse and repeat.
Yes, thank you. What is his swim like compared to open water?
He's pretty good overall.
Because we don't have data from the games,
right?
Yeah. He's very good. He's competed at Dubai a couple of times. Uh-oh.
You're going to sneeze? You got to
bloody nose?
Yeah, I thought I did.
I'm going to punch you.
Did you
Nope, I'm good.
do something with your Roy Rogers?
Missed with a straw?
Yeah.
Still goes down the same way. No, and competing in Dubai in multiple years, swimming out there, although a little bit warmer water out there, but
just a little.
He's a great open ocean swimmer.
Okay.
Whoops, I just closed out the leaderboard. My fault.
All good. Yeah. But I mean, I do think he's going to get a good chance. Like this isn't just a runaway event for him. I think Bukowski's open ocean swimmer is fantastic. Quant's a surprisingly sneaky swimmer.
Sam Quant is sneaky in every way that the definition sneaky is.
He is. People overlook him
every
all the time. And he's like Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson. He just gets lost.
Count
and
him
all
in.
Of a sudden,
he's always in.
There he is. Let's get to something that we're going to do here each night. We'll start with our moment of the day. I think for me, that's going to be pretty easy. It was Guy Majeros in the 310-pound snatch / hang snatch that he did and made it look easy. And I loved the post-game interview or the post-event interview that you did with him where he said, 295 is almost 300 and 300 is almost 305. It was almost 310. So I just decided to do 310.
Where does he get his math?
I don't know, but it works for him.
I mean,
amazing.
A lot of people were sitting there like,
It's like those memes where you see like all of the numbers and the division and the multiplication go on the screen.
Yeah, and Zach Galifianakis at the blackjack table in the Hangover.
Hey, another movie reference, guys. Now that's 3 in 2 days.
Hey-o.
3 in 2 days.
Hey, I think I have my horn. Can I do my horn?
There we go.
One thing to note: James Sprague, excellent swimmer as well tomorrow. So another good monostructural guy. But
that's my moment of the day. Moment of the day.
Ooh,
oh, man.
I was on the floor for it. So watching Julia Hannaford hit the 195, and
that was cool.
Her celebration, like mid lift, and then still having to rock out overhead squats was great. Hi, Ava.
Hello, Ava. We already got Shirley Temples.
An up-and-coming athlete like that was. Big moment, lifting, high pressure, high execution to come out and win from the corner spot right there and outlift some tremendous ladies. That was cool. And I got to speak with her afterwards in the athlete area, and you could see she's just pumped. Like that's the kind of moments that whether you elevate to a games athlete or not, winning to open up a big weekend like this, like she'll take that with her for sure.
Lauren, moment of the day.
Oh, you two picked really good ones.
You can pick the same one.
Well, okay, I'm gonna cheat off your homework, and I'm gonna pick both of them. But I'm also gonna just mention Emma Carey. I know that she was unhappy with her overall performance at the CrossFit Games, and to come back to Wodapalooza and sit second overall, have 2 first-place finishes after day 1, especially after changing training camps, moving, having a lot of shifts in her life. I think it's cool to see her back on the competition floor and starting with a strong finish.
So you're going moment of the day. She actually won.
Oh, I'm going to say athlete of the day.
Okay, we're going to come.
Okay, yeah, we just
snake draft. Athlete of the day, Emma Carey.
I stole and then I went.
Athlete of the day, Sally.
I'm going to have a sneaky one.
Ooh,
I'm going to go outside the box here. All right. One of the top 10 women right now, Andra Moistis.
Okay.
She was second to last on the snatch, and then she goes 6, 7, 5 to move herself up into the top 10. She punted the first one into the stands and is still in 10th place. I had a Spiegel,
I like that one.
Fee, Emily Rolfe, Grace Walton, Freya, Carolyn Stanley, a ton of games athletes, Elena, a lot of talented women, and she basically booted one, and she's still coming.
That's good. Athlete of the day, I'll go sort of off the board a little bit too. Not necessarily, but CJ Gerald sitting in 6th for me after day 1. I mean, great. You go, oh yeah, Gerard sure makes sense. And first, Vellner, yep, know him. Farlow, absolutely. Quant, Fikowski, and then who? CJ Gerald. And 217.5 points. He's only 18 out of a spot inside the top 3.
Woo!
He's a really good mover too.
Yeah, well, and we talked about
great movement quality.
The other day we were talking about who can have that kind of Paige Powers performance where shows up on the radar, uses this performance at Wodapalooza to propel himself or herself to the best season that they've had, which I think Paige did last year. Yeah. Right now, to me, it looks like it might be CJ Gerald.
What did he finish semifinals?
CJ in semifinals stand by.
We have that somewhere. Yeah.
He was.
But I saw him in.
He was 21st at the North America West, so not close, but middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And I've said this multiple times on this show before. For me, it's like Tim Paulson-esque, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tim had been competing for a little bit, hadn't broken through the games. I saw him. I think he finished 3rd or 4th. He was in the top 5 as an individual, and I was like, he has really good movement quality.
Yeah,
very similar. And I came back from 2017. I was like, this guy is going to qualify, and sure enough, he made it out of the East, a really tough regional, and it set him up nicely for a great career.
Well, we got 2 tomorrow, and I think the second one is another of those 50-point back-to-back ones. So the first one is Wipeout. Now, this is assuming that they don't.
What's the weather like?
They don't change anything right now. So I'll pop the description up. It's 4 time. You do 50 calories on the Echo Bike for the men, 40 for the women. Then there's a swim, and then it's 150 beaded double under. So they have a special rope that they're going to get for these things.
Ooh.
Then another swim, then a 500-meter assault run. So this is going to be the longest event of the competition.
Does it say?
Does not say, but it's 100 points. I think it's. I want to say 20 minutes-ish in there.
Oh, man, with that beaded rope and it wet, you got to protect.
I know, I'm like, ow,
you got to protect your grizzlies down there. Cover up them toesies.
Yeah, and then El Circo is the last one. You got a little even event description video there, but you buy in with 90-foot mixed grip kettlebell lunge, 1 arm overhead, 1 arm front rack, into 3 rounds of 3 2 rope climbs, 18 toes to bar, 90-foot handstand walk, and you buy out with a 90-foot mixed grip. So maybe that one is just 100 pounds. Yeah, that was the back-to-back round was today.
Yeah, but that first rep has got to be seated. So basically enough to get you up off the floor to where you can pinch.
Yeah.
So just a little wrinkle in there for that.
Wipeout does have a 20-minute time cap. You were correct.
Okay, so we got 2 events. Who will you be watching tomorrow? Men or women? Athlete you expect to make a big move? Who could possibly make a big move?
Make a big move.
Yeah.
Let me go double check. Do we go men and women?
Either one. Doesn't matter. Just off the top of your head. Because
I'm just kind of.
I think Fikowski has a chance to work his way to maybe challenge for the lead here.
Yeah. I think hopefully he bounces back. He just didn't, like at the end, he was wiped.
He was.
I'm kind of looking here.
I'd say keep an eye on Fikowski. I think Sam Cornway in 9th might have a shot.
Yeah, I think he'll make some moves.
Did you mention James Sprague? He's another guy.
I think James can make a lot of ground. I'm looking at who are some of the. Ooh, okay. I would be curious to see. Christy Hollard's a pretty good swimmer, huh?
She's from Australia. They always
Yeah.
are. I mean, there was a time not that long ago at the games where it's just like it was. You look at any water event, it was top 5 were Australian, men and women. It's
They
evened
grew
out
up
a
in
little
the water.
Doing it for the Commonwealth. But
Okay.
yeah, I like Sprague. I like Christy Hollard tomorrow. Let me go look on the men. I just want to see. I want to pick that irrespective of placing.
Yeah.
And then look at overall, and then obviously, yeah.
Lauren, anybody you're going to be paying attention to?
Maybe you guys can set me in check if this is wrong, but I want to say that I think Sydney Wells is going to have a good day too.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah. She's great at toes to
Can
bar.
see that.
Good at midline work.
I feel like she's good at swimming, and maybe I'm just thinking like she was a good runner, and that I know it's obviously not the same thing.
She's good on her hands.
But
upside.
I think she's going to have a good day tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so too. I also think Roman's going to make a charge. I think
How
but
far?
he's what's realistic to him? Top 10, you think?
I'll say he goes combined 2 placements, like points per placing style. I think he goes combined 4 points total. So either that's 2-2, 3-1, or better. I think he has an excellent day tomorrow.
Oh, you're saying so he has 2 top 5 finishes tomorrow. Top 4 finishes.
2 top 4 finishes.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe even better. Top 3.
Oh.
I'll go top 3. 2 top 3 finishes for Roman tomorrow. I think he moves up 7th or 8th overall, maybe a little bit better, and salvages a little bit of a head scratcher day. And you're like, because he's done this before. He wasn't great at Rogue a couple years ago. And you're like, maybe it's just to come down from the games. You know, he does great, much better at Rogue. Maybe just a little bit of a come down here, kind of throttling down a little bit. But I think he salvages it tomorrow.
All right. Anything else you want to get to?
Yeah,
that happened today? Because I thought they made the right call. I got to give the officials at Tier Wodapalooza credit. I mean, I think they made the right calls in the changes that they made. There was no reason to try to do anything fancy with the amount of water that was out there on the floor. If you guys watch it, you saw how much rain was coming down. So give them credit for adjusting on the fly. I thought that was the right thing to do. Hopefully tomorrow weather doesn't throw a wrench into things. But this is my 3rd time here. Every year weather has forced some sort of change. So I think it's just something that you got to get used to when you come to Wodapalooza.
It's part of the charm.
It is part of the charm. I think the weather's supposed to be better tomorrow. So
another note, Matilda Garnes did withdraw from the individual division. I heard that she potentially will still be doing the team.
And by the way, we had Noah Olson on, who said, just to close this loop, whoever was with Lena Richter and Annika Greer in the team competition was going to be their 4th member. Where Lena dropped out, they brought Rebecca Vidison in, and they brought Matilda Garnes in. So odds are it's Matilda Garnes who's going to be that 4th member of the Noah Olson team. He said it, so I can say it. It's not official, but the logic follows there.
Ipso facto.
Ipso facto, exactly.
Alexander Coron also withdrew. At least
he was having apparently a pec looked at again too. You think? I don't know if it's the same one or not, but you were down there and saw it, right? He was in the medical tent. Someone saw him on our team in the medical tent.
Yep.
And that's what he withdrew from semifinals for.
Yeah.
You're just, come on, man. I hope you're all right.
Yeah.
He's dealt with injuries in the past. He had to withdraw from 2018 because he jacked his knee up because when he was on the squatting platform. You just hope that he's all right.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yep.
Disheartening, but
all right, 2 more tomorrow. We got the LATAM Cup as well.
Yeah.
Great job to you today, by the way.
Thanks, Sean.
A little bit of history was made. First time we've ever had a female play-by-play announcer in a major CrossFit event that I'm aware of. So congratulations. It has been one of my big regrets when I left CrossFit is that we never found a woman to do play-by-play. So thank you for putting your hands up. Thank you for working hard to do it. It wasn't just like someone said, "Hey, let's let Lauren." Chase Ingram, we worked with you, and
Chase
I thought you did a phenomenal job.
Tommy's worked with me. Yep. You've been super helpful in giving me tips and sitting in the booth and helping get me through the first show. But
well, it was nice because I think like after a couple of events, I went, oh, she's fine. And I was able to just sort of like go tool around outside. So yeah, great job. And looking forward to hearing you tomorrow. And then we will have more coverage on the weekend with the team competition. We will all be there throughout the weekend. Stay tuned to our social media. We got still have this evening more athlete interviews posting. Check out the Nano X4. A couple hours, it's dropping. So scan the QR code, enter your email. You'll get all the updates. It's a fantastic shoe. Thanks to the good folks at Reebok for sponsoring our coverage here at your Wodapalooza. Thanks for Lauren for hooking us up with those. What are those? Roy Rogers and a Shirley Temple? Is that what you got?
So
it's basically a Shirley Temple, but instead of Sprite, we did Diet Pepsi, which has a different name.
Roy Rogers on a diet.
At least one of these nights, I got to have an alcoholic beverage. It's probably going to be Sunday.
Can I get you a dirty Shirley?
I don't even know if that sounds terrible.
I think his wife will have something to say about that.
Yeah, I know, right? A dirty Shirley.
They are delicious.
I looked that up in the old Urban Dictionary. I'm afraid I'm going to read for that. But
oh God.
Well, we will.
I'm going to tell your wife on your birthday that's the only beverage that you can drink to ring in the.
No, that's my 50th.
Yeah.
I'm 50.
I'm drinking dirty Shirley.
No, that's like I feel like that's like whiskey straight up at that age. You're just like
you might be the first,
DGAF.
You might be the first 50-year-old American male to have a nothing but dirty Shirley.
No, that's we're not. Let's not get attached to that idea. So.
Okay.
I'm already attached.
All right. Well, a lot of fun tomorrow as we're going to crown individual champions. Then we move on to the team competition. And the cool thing is a lot of the athletes that we are watching in this individual competition will be competing in the team competition. Justin Medeiros will be back out there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him back out on the competition floor. I'm amazed. I was thinking about this the other day, and we can talk about this at a later date. I'm amazed at how much of an afterthought that guy is now when you talk about individuals.
It's crazy.
Isn't it? He won
recency
twice.
bias.
Yeah.
People forget.
And now it's just like, it's Roman, Ricky, and Pat.
Well,
and Brent. And then maybe a couple other names. And
Jeff Adler, who won the games.
Exactly. And Adler. And it's like.
People sometimes forget about him,
right,
too.
And Medeiros' name just doesn't come up anymore.
Oh, it's two-time champ Justin Medeiros. Huh?
Yeah, who? Right? Exactly.
It's like, dude, he's still very fit.
Very relevant
he
still.
Is definitely a threat, and you should.
He ain't retired yet.
And he's like, what, like 24, 25?
Exactly. He's still super young. So, okay, I think that's going to do it for us here on night number one. We'll be back tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So hopefully you guys join us again then. Thanks again to Reebok. Check out the Nano X4. Reebok.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen. It drops here in a couple hours. So if you're listening to this, it's probably out now.
The drop. The drip drop.
All right.
What?
Nice try.
You didn't like that? Both of your looks, you were unamused.
I was like, what? Okay.
Fine.
All right, I dropped an awful
yeah, you did.
joke on the.
It was a good try, though.
What is it? We'll end on that note.
If you could see me in person, you could see the wheels turning and like
you could see the regret on his face. I was like, the shame.
Did you at least laugh?
No, I was like, I just went, wow.
You just moved on.
I went,
like,
wow.
The progression was
and in lane 4.
It was like Austin Hatfield.
Let's pretend that didn't happen.
Basically, the progression of the sentence was leading to him throwing his hat in the ring. So I was like, so I guess you could say he's throwing his Hatfield in the ring. And Sean just it was like, this mother.
Where's
the that one?
That's what I should have given him. So.
Also, what date is it? Oh, no.
It is the 11th.
Next week. I was like, Tom Sr. is going on The Price is
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good segue.
Oh,
Tommy's dad is going to be on The Price is Right.
I can't wait.
Well, they're going to record it. Like, it's not live.
They are. But
so.
he's
are you going to watch?
I'm not. It's just him and my mom. I designed their shirts.
Oh, what are they wearing?
Amazing.
Yeah, so he's got a shirt. It's all New Mexico flag colors.
Ooh.
Oh,
it's
cool.
It's like a certain yellow, and it says "Born in," and then it has the New Mexico flag on it. It says "Raised" or "Lives in," and it has the California logo.
Cool.
And it says "Born in," "Lives in," and then it says "Raised by," and it says "The Price is Right," because he grew up with that show. He grew up on that show back when it was Truth or Consequences, which subsequently also named after a spot in New Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah.
Full circle.
There you go. Chase likes the jacket, by the way.
Oh,
Glad we get a Chase Ingram reference in on the broadcast, too.
We did.
Men and women are the same height. I'm like, yeah, Chase Ingram loves every second of that. So he's been beating that drum for a long time. And finally, Wodapalooza said, you know what? We're doing it.
Yeah, I was going to sneak a Go Cowboys in there, but didn't feel right just yet.
Yeah.
Because it's going down.
You need to, you don't know.
They're going down.
Nope. Nope. Bet the farm on the old Dallas Cowboys, I think, on that one.
Packers are going to kick their butts.
We'll see. All right.
I just have no
Can't
comment.
wait to rub it in.
I've got good
Don't do that.
I've got good juju this week. I'm just keeping it rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 p.m. locals when things kick off with the LATAM Cup tomorrow, right? And then after that, the individuals take over. A little bit of a later night tomorrow, but a later start. So, which is good for us because we get to sleep in. So, all right. That is going to do it for today. Again, we'll be back tomorrow night after competition, back on Saturday, and we will wrap it up on Sunday. Thanks, guys, and we'll end on that. Des caught it. Yep.
Yes.
I was waiting for that. I was actually waiting for that when we mentioned Chase. I thought that would be the next thing out of your mouth. So for Lauren and Tommy, I'm Sean. Take care of each other. Be better. And we will talk to you guys next time.